And thanks everybody. I really appreciate having this forum and sharing 15 minutes of insights with you. I'm really going to focus in this time on assessing Greywater's impact, and that comes in a couple of shapes and forms. One is the impact for us as San Diegans and what potential benefits lie for us, particularly focusing on simple systems. I understand that you may have had a presentation of Greywater a while ago that perhaps focused on the more complex side of Greywater systems, so I'm going to take a deeper dive on simple systems that are obviously a lot lower cost and lower tech, but could be argued to be equally as effective. And the other impact is really just looking back over the last year and a half since the California Plumbing Code was rewritten, Chapter 16A, that enabled Greywater, supposedly made it easier for us as homeowners to install Greywater systems. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a report card and status on how that's been going. I guess just a quick background on me, just to add to Glenn's introduction. I've been a Greywater practitioner for 2.5 years on a professional basis. I have 2 companies. Bang for Your Green Buck is operational in the Bay Area, and we're just about to launch Water Recycle San Diego. And I also do a lot of non-profit education outreach work through Greywater Action, which is an excellent body that really kind of upholds policies and education standards for Greywater out of the Bay Area. And some of the content I have today is thanks to Laura Allen, who's the founder of Greywater Action. Okay, so quick overview of Greywater and the systems. We're going to move from simple to complex. We're going to assess its potential for conservation and the benefits of that. The update on progress since the code change. An overview of incentives. We're going to look at some other water agencies across the state and what they're doing to promote Greywater reuse. And obviously assess what ongoing challenges exist. Maybe there's some ideas we can generate to overcome those challenges. But most importantly, I want us all to think about the potential of Greywater for us here in San Diego. Okay, so quick grounding on Greywater. When we talk about Greywater, obviously we're thinking about sinks, showers, and washing machines. We're not thinking about toilet water, that's black water, and we don't go there. We send that to the sewer system where it belongs, or the septic tank if we happen to have that. And there's a couple of different applications for this. The first 2 in terms of outdoor use. One focuses on very simple approach, and that's no pumps, no filtration. We let gravity do the work. This is most of the work that I personally do. It makes the most sense in terms of return on investment because these are very low material costs, and if you design it the right way, there's really nothing to break down over time. More complex systems do need pumping and filtration, and often this is necessary if you want to integrate it with existing drip irrigation or other irrigation for that matter. Unfortunately, the added complexity of technology can really bump up the cost. We'll have a look at some project costs in a while so you can see the comparisons. And also, you know, there's added complexity in terms of maintenance because, of course, filters need to be cleaned. And with all the best intentions, we can forget to do that from time to time. And pumps, obviously, are going to break down over time. There is some work across the world in terms of Greywater reuse for internal. It's not really a big factor here in California, with the exception of the presentation that we saw this morning in terms of reclaimed water and purified water on state levels. It's not really legal in terms of codes for homeowners yet, though, so pretty limited in terms of its use. A little bit of history on Greywater. I'm going to move quickly because I'm sure many of you already know this. A transition really we've seen over the last couple of decades of Greywater being viewed as something dirty and to be getting rid of at all costs, to really recognising its potential as a resource, and as we've just seen with the systems on the previous slide, particularly with simple systems, that resource can be turned into something very beneficial for our landscape use. 1992 was the first code that we saw, and actually California was the first state to write a code on greywater. It was fairly restrictive because it still had a mindset of greywater being something kind of dangerous and unhealthy, and we had to it was more of a disposal guideline than a reuse guideline. So what we really saw as a result of that was actually like thousands of greywater systems being installed across the state, particularly with the increasing drought conditions that we saw. Lots of experimentation, lots of mistakes being made over and over again, and very, very little permits being applied for or recognition of legal systems. So really the code was out of step with really where people were in terms of recognising this as a resource. So that brought us up to 2009, and the summertime through to October 2009, this code was rewritten. It makes it obviously legal and more simple to implement simple systems. That's gravity-based systems. And particularly with we're going to talk a lot about laundry to landscape systems. That's obviously taking water from the washing machine. More or less statewide, that's a permit-free system, so that greatly reduces costs of the system and the complexity to get it installed. What we call the branch drain systems that run from showers and sinks, pretty much across the state do require permits, but I'll show you some examples of local jurisdictions. Some have taken a more lenient approach to this, some have taken a more strict approach, and we'll kind of highlight those. But overall, it's positive news. Greywater is starting to be viewed as a resource again. Sorry, I had a little jam. Any idea of this?
Kelly, can you punch it?
Kelly, are you able to take me to the next slide? All right, just while we're doing that. So, thank you, Kelly. So this is a snapshot of a really excellent report that was released by UCLA back end of 2009, which really looked at the potential of greywater as a real part of our solution for water conservation. And you can see here in the diagram that when we look at this is the gallons per day per capita use of us in Californians, and particularly we look at the shower and laundry water that's generated per capita per day. It matches up pretty much exactly to the water that's used for landscape use. So there is definite potential here in terms of that greywater generated to solve a significant part of our challenges for California. So a really nice matchup there. Let's see if I can go forward to the next slide. Okay, wonderful. And then when we look at the total numbers, so these are the millions of gallons per day, and this is particularly for Southern California, we can see that these numbers really start to add up when we examine washing systems in isolation, then showers and washers, then showers and washers and sinks. There really are starting to add up some significant numbers that can be saved with very low-cost systems. One column, I think, is a real eye-opener for us and a great statistic for us all to carry forward to promote greywater, that if only 10% of us in Southern California implemented simple greywater systems, this would generate enough water to match what a large desalination plant would do for us in Southern California. So we start to think about not only the capital costs of creating a new desalination plant, but then the ongoing cost and burning of fossil fuels to operate that system. Cost comparisons are pretty laughable in terms of what we could do here to promote and educate people on simple greywater systems for landscape use.